Okay. So the traversing DOM, basically the traversing DOM is we can select a child of the parent and we can go to the top side, down side, we can select children, previous sibling, next sibling, like that. That is called a traversing. Okay. Basically, we are going to traverse to top to bottom or bottom to top, like that way. So that is called a traversing DOM. So we can jump from one to another place, one element to another element to target the attribute or the value, whatever. Okay. So as yesterday I just start the simple. So here you see the list takes a UI collection. So I'm using the val equal to the list. Now the val is having a copy of the list. So here yesterday I show you that val value equal to list dot child nodes. So what it's going to return when I give that, so it's returning node list of collections. Okay, so it's returning as a node list. You see the node list. So node is basically going to have that command is a node, element is a node, text is a node, space is a node, everything is a node here. Okay, the document is as a document also a node, that is a document node. So now I will give that example. So if I want to select some particular thing, so in the one what I have here, in the one I have the text. Okay, because that is a space. So when I hit enter, so I got the text. So I'm not going to do anything with the space, but this is the not proper way. This is a syntax. We are not going to use this syntax. Okay, just I'm giving all kinds of example you to understand. So value equal to, so list dot child nodes. So the child nodes of 0. Okay, so what I'm going to get, so I'm going to get the list of collection. Okay, for example, I'll open this on incognito. So here I got the list li. So the li is this one, the first one. Okay, this one is returning me. So now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to get the node name. Okay, for example, what is the node name of this li? Okay, so here list one list, sorry, here where itself we can do 0 dot node name. So we'll check what the node name is returning. It's returning li. Okay, so basically what it's actually happening, wait 1 minute, I will show you some this 0 nodes of 0 node types. So this is maybe some confusion. It's like little bit. This is very easy. Okay, it's returning some number. Okay, every node is actually the value of the number. Okay, for example, 1 is a element and 2 is a attribute and 3 is text node, command node for the 8, and for the 9 is document. Like that way we have some value to the each and every element. For example, here we console the type of the node of the element. Okay, you see this return li. Okay, because that is a li, so that's what is returning the node name of li. So what is the node type? So I'll just paste here something. Okay, so I think wait, I remember that thing. The one for the one is the element and 2 is attribute. Okay, so the 3 is 3 is text node, and the 4, I think there is no 4. 8, 4 is command. Okay, so then 9. Document itself, then we have a 10 of equal to doc type. So I'm just showing you now. So what happened when I try to console the node type of this, so it's returning 1 because that node type is basically element. Okay, for example, if I try to put the node, if I try to console the node text node, so what is going to happen? 1 is basically text, right? So if I put that, what it's going to return? It's going to return 3. Basically, the 3 is a text node. Okay, so that's what it represent with the 3. So it's returning a 3. So if I put a command here after 1, what I do after this li ul, this li, after here I'll put some command. Okay, say I am command node. So I'll put like this. So when I come back here, so I'll try to console the 4 here. Okay. So the 4 is one where the LA is returning. So if I get back here, the command is 2 basically. Okay. If I try to console the 2, the node type of 2, so what I'm going to get, I'm going to get the 8. You see, it's returning 8 because the command value of the number is 8, so that's what it's returning 8. Okay, so if I try to put the 2 of node name, what we're going to get, so we're going to get hash command. You see, these are the command names. So the command name and the command type. Okay, sorry, the node type. So the node name and the node type. So when I hit the 2, the node type is returning as 8. So basically the 8 is command. Okay, so this is the difference between what actually the node type of the numbers. We couldn't be able to get it is node or like that. Okay, we directly get the numbers. So don't get confused about this because we are not going to use here this kinds of syntax, but you guys to understand what's actually the document is doing. So that's what I take this. Okay, so I'll show you the real example, real syntax, what we going to do. Okay, so for get the children element node. So now what I'm going to do, so last time I did child nodes. Okay, this time I'm not going to do that. So val equal to, so val equal to list dot child node, sorry, the children. Okay, I can call the children directly. So if I hit the children, we only get the children of the UL, we're not going to get the nodes. Okay, if you try to access with the node, so this is a useless. Actually, we're not going to we never gonna use this. Okay, in the project. So this is very important, always remember this. So list dot children is returning the actual children of inside the UL, right? So we are targeting the UL and I'll target the list of the children, so it's returning the UL. So we have a 4 UL here, the LI here. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, so totally 5. This index starts from 0. So if I want to access the first one, what I want to do? So I can give like it a array. So if I hit 1, so it's returning me this LI. Okay, you see this returning me LI. I can change the text content or inner HTML, whatever I want now. Okay, so I get the first one. So if I try to change the text content of that, text content or inner text, whatever. Okay, so inner text equal to hello. If I hit that, you see now it's changed to the hello. Okay, so we basically we target the element. So in the element of the inner text, I've changed that to hello. Okay, so then how do we for example, how do we get the children of children? For example, I will show you again. So this one is 1, right? So this one now having LI. Okay, there is no, why this, yeah, okay, what I do, I'll just take this one. Okay, so if you see now, I'll change this inner text, so I'll just comment out because I need this uh, button. Okay, the eye icon. So for example, you see here we have a list item 2 and we have another children inside of this list, right? That is the inner children of the LI. So how can I get that? First of all, right? So I just put val list dot children 1. So this is the UL children, right? How can I get access the children of children? That is the question, second question. So this, now this is having some another children, right? So we can give a children here. What we'll check what is going to return. So it's going to returning a collections of node. Sorry, the HTML collection. What the HTML collection is returning? It's returning a tag. So, but its a tag is sitting in index of 0. Okay, I should want to put a 0 here. So if I put, I can get the actual a element here. I can add some ID here. You see there is no ID to this a tag, but I can set a new attribute as an ID. So dot ID equal to, I'll just give a test link. Okay, so the test link, if I take test link, if I can set the ID, so I can get, now what I do, I'll just take this out. Okay, if I try to console log the element, you see now we or added the ID to the a element. So this is how you should want to get insight to the children of the children. Okay, everything is going to be children. Okay, remember one thing, that is very simple. So the UL as a children, so we get targeted children, and that is going to return a HTML collection. That in the HTML collection of going to return a index number 0, 1 or 2, whatever the children, where the children you should want to target, you should want to pass the actual index. So in that LI we have another children. So what we doing, so in that children, this is the LI children of the UL. So then in the LI we have another children of A. So the same thing we should want to do is again the children. So it's going to return the HTML collection kind of index. So the index of 0 only we have the actual element. So we are targeting the, we are actually adding some ID attribute to the A tag. So now we got the test link. So when I try to console log the A tag here, the LI children of children, so I get the ID with the ID added. Okay, understand? Hello, could you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so understand.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just remember we have a, we are the parent, sorry, the parent is having a children, the children is having some nested children. You should want to go inside to you should want to put dot children like that way. But the children is not going to return the actual element, it's going to return as an HTML collection. That HTML collection is work like an array. So that kind of array syntax, what is going to have, it's kind of having a index of list. Okay, so in that particular list you should want to select using the this square bracket 0 or 1, whatever. Okay, so this is a getting how to getting the children. This is the syntax what we're going to use almost when we in our project. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to target the first child. So first child val equal to list dot first child. What I'm going to get, we'll check that. So when I hit the list of the first child, what I'm get, I get the first child, right? So we get the first child. So this is one thing. So we also have, for example, yeah, this is the I think here we have the gap here. Okay, so now we're not going to get that one. We're going to get the text, because this first child is going to return the nodes. Remember that the first child is going to return node. Okay, but val equal to list dot first element child is going to return the actual elements. So this is the difference. Don't use the child, always stick with the element child. This is the, so don't use a no child nodes, always stick with children's. Okay, so this is I want to show you all the things, how the things gonna happen. Okay, because when I get into some YouTube, the people are only taking the children's and the first element child like this way. So but you should want to understand what is the difference between the child nodes, and the nodes is basically what is the nodes in the document. Everything is a node. Okay, for example, the element is a node, attribute is a node, text is a node, space is a node, command is a node, document is also a node, and doc type is also a node. So we cannot able to access them, but this is the thing. Okay, so these are all the node. So we saw this thing, how what is node, but this is useless. We are not going to use anywhere in our application when we creating our project. Just give me 1 minute. So this is not going to be useful for us. So we are not going to work with it. Okay, so don't worry about that. Just understand what is actually happening. So here also understand what is actually happening. So here don't use the first child, because the first child it's going to return the nodes of the element. Okay, remember that. Only always stick with first. If you want to target the first element of the child, target use the first element child. Okay, how can I get the last now? Last child. Okay, so the last child is going to return val equal to list dot, if I put last child, what I'm going to get? Okay, sorry. Okay, so it's going to get the text. Okay, because in the last one what we are actually having, so you see we have the space here. Okay, this is a text node. You see there is a blue color is selecting here, right? The blue color is selecting here, so that is called a text node. So if I take this out, And what I'm going to do still, I think this one. Yeah, now you see we are getting the li. Okay, so here the space is taking because the last node is after this only the last child, right? So I'll just take this space out. So now I get the li, but if I do like keep like this way, I'm going to get the text node because here we have one space here. Okay, so that's the reason. So if I save this again, I'm going to get the same thing. Okay, so it's considering there is a space. Okay, the space is also a text node, remember that. So what if I have a, for example, if I have like this command here, we cannot able to do that, I think. COMMNT. If I do that, it's going to return the actual text command here. You see, it's returning the actual text of here. Okay, the last one. This is the last child now. So that is the, you understand, right? What I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I'll take this out. So now, so how, so to use that, what should we want to do? You should want to do
Last element.
last element child. Okay, so last element child. If I save this, I can get the last collection. In the collection we can get the directly the last child. Okay, so here you can directly change the text content. You don't want to put like this. Okay, because this is not returning as an HTML collection, you see. So if you get the directly, if you get the direct element like this way, so you can able to access, right? So if you want to change the, like what I do, so that style of anything. Okay, the style equal to, what I'm going to do, I'm going to color of red. So if I save this, okay, I wait 1 minute, I will forgot the syntax. To so dot, right? So this one. So I'll take this one. Don't worry, don't remember the syntax and all. Okay, if you forgot the syntax, no problem, but you should want to know how these things are working. Okay, so if I try to put like this, so now you see the colors got changed. Okay, but I know how to use, I don't, even though I'm a developer for last 5 years, but even though I don't know the simple syntax. Okay, don't try to remember all these things, just understand the things. If you don't know the syntax, you know what to do, right? You know what to do here. So go and search for it, the syntax, and copy and paste it from here. Okay, so that's it. That is how the developer is always gonna work. So not everyone is going to remember all the things and all. Okay, so we get the last child. Okay, so now I'll just make a command of it. Okay, so the last element child, because I don't need the color here, that's what. So else I'll take this color out, no problem. So now we got the last element child. Okay, so the second step is so now what I'm going to do, basically, like we can count the child elements. Okay, how many elements we have in a count. For example, here how many elements we have in this UL?
5 elements.
So 1 2 3 4 5, right? So we can have we can count also that. So what the property is, count child elements. Okay, so count child elements is going to get the val equal to list dot count list, I think, child element count. Yeah, child element count. If I do this, I can get the 5. Okay, this is how you can actually calculate the children, how many list you have a child inside the parent. Okay, so here get the parent node. So now what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to do for example, what I do, okay, here I'm going to have some new variable. So const list item. Okay, I'm just going to target the li now. So the li of the last element. So document.query selector, I'm going to target the li of collection item of last child. Okay, okay, so li dot, I gave the some class, I'm using the last child here. Okay, so if I come back here, I'll try to console the here I'll put that. Okay, so no, so here I'll put console.log list item. What I'm going to get? I'm going to get the last LA. Okay, so you see, I get the last one. Okay, when I hover, this one is selecting now, so that I know that I'm selecting the last one. So okay, everything is fine. So now what should I'm going to do? Here we going to now access the parent. Okay, we are basically going to get the parent node, next sibling, previous sibling, like the things. Okay, so for example, I'm going to get the parent node, parent node. So now what I'm going to do, so val equal to list item, I'll take this out. So list item dot parent node, if I gave that, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the UL, you see, because this LI, this is the LI of the last child. I get the parent of the LI. Who is the parent? The parent is UL, right? So who is the parent of the UL? Now see the HTML code. Who is the parent of the UL?
H5 class.
No, H5 is not a parent.
The div class of the card action.
Yeah, the card action. Okay, so if I try to access that parent node, what I'm going to get? The card action. You see? So this is how we are basically traversing to child to the parent node. Okay, I'll just make this like this. So for okay, so val equal to, so here I'll have a list dot parent element. Okay, if I div like this, so it's also going to return the collection. Always stick with the elements, node, don't go with nodes. Okay, here in this case the nodes and elements are going to work same, but we are not going to, we don't need the node, because why should we need the node? We are not going to modify or anything with the node, right? We're going to only modify the actual element for in our case. So don't stick with the node and all, so always stick with the elements. Okay, so here you see this children, not go with children nodes. Here you see this is element like that, so stick with the element. Okay, so this is how do we get the parent. Okay, so I'll here also I'll put some dot parent element, so I'm going to get the card action now. Okay, so I'll get the card action. Okay, so this is how to get the parent. So get sibling. So how can I get the next sibling now? So the sibling is basically what? The real life example is kind of brothers or sisters, right? So
Yes, sir.
now what I'm going to do, val equal to, so list item dot, okay, the list item is the last child, remember that. So the next sibling is who? Say,
List item 4.
okay, so this one is not going to return. Okay, so wait 1 minute, I will give you sibling. Next sibling is, now this is going to return that actual text node. Okay, what I do now, so the next sibling, next so that this is the
Sibling element.
yeah, 1 minute, I'm just this one is next element sibling is basically null, right? So wait, I will show you that. So first, before that, I will show you the previous sibling. So get previous sibling val equal to list item dot previous sibling. What I'm going to get? I'm going to get the text. Okay, for what about the element? Previous element sibling. I get the LI. Okay. Which I'm getting this one. Previous sibling. Okay. The sibling is the next one, right? So here, yeah, correct. Okay, so you're see, this is working properly. I just had some confusion. So if I try to target the nth child of 4, okay, here nth child of 4, so now I'll get the fourth one, right? So the fourth one, okay, why this is not returning? Wait here, because of this. So now I'll put the console.log list item. So I'll get the fourth one. Okay, the nth child fourth one. I'm getting the fourth child here because I'm using the nth child 4. You see the 4. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here, we have 3, 4, 5, right? Okay. So if I try to get the next sibling, okay, if I try to get the next sibling, I get the text node, because we are not going to stick with the text sibling and all. Okay, so we are going to stick with the element. What is the next element sibling? So when I hover the after 4, we have only the 5. Okay, so if I try to access the inside A, what should I want to give? So this is a children of that element, right? So I can give the children. So I can get the HTML collection. In that HTML collection, you should want to pass the 0. You will get the actual A tag here. Okay, that is children. That is not a sibling. Remember that. Okay. So when I used to get the fifth one, the last child, okay, last child, there is no sibling after the 5. Okay, because you see, after 5, is there any element after 5? If I have any
No,
li
sir.
here, the empty li, I can get the li. Uncut, read the property of null. Why this is returning null? So here we now have the null here. So now we get the null. Okay. So if I try to put li, okay, I'll just take this out, copy and paste. This one is 6. This is returning next sibling. Yeah, actually it's targeting the last one only. No, so we are not going to get anything. Yeah, basically, because we are targeting the last one. After last li, there is no li. Okay, that's the reason. So if I try to access the previous sibling, for example, now I'll get the text node. We are not going to stick with this. So this is going to be an 4, right? So if I try to give dot previous sibling, element sibling, I'm going to get the 3 now. You see, I'm getting the 3. If I access to the second one, I should want to go like this way. Okay, the previous sibling of the previous sibling of the previous sibling. So next sibling of the next sibling of the next sibling, like that way. You see, now it's true. If you give previous sibling again, it's going to be an 1. So is there any previous sibling after before 1? There is no sibling, right?
No, sir.
So if I give that, it's going to return null. You see, it's returning null. Oh, this is how the things are actually working. So remember this. So this is very important when you work in a UI state, and if you want to change some kind of like styles and things and all. Okay, so we are not going to stick with nodes only. We are going to stick with children. Children is going to return actual element of the parent. So this first child, we can access the first child element and the last child element of the parent. For example, here the UL, we are targeting the first element is the li first one, the last element is the last li, and we are get the child count and the parent node of parent element, and parent element of the parent element is going to keep on going to the top side of the parent like that way. Okay, so this is the next sibling, the next sibling element. We are not going to stick with this. So only the element, whatever the element name comes, so that is very important. So here also the previous element we're going to stick with it. So okay, so this is how the traversing is gonna work. So do you understand how this traversing is work?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we get into the remove element. Okay, so this one is 7 basically. So I'll keep it as a 7. I'll keep this as a 6. This one is 7. Remove element is 8. Okay, I'll keep the first structure like this way. Okay, because after only we can able to learn this and all. Before itself I went to the creations and all. Okay, so yesterday we replace the thing. So the h2 we created the new element, and we put some id to the new element what we created dynamic in JavaScript, and we call the new heading dot append child the text node task list, and we get the old heading element, that's task title, then card action, because we need the parent. I want to I want to replace the child. What the child I want to insert the new element where I want to replace. So that is the old heading. Okay, so this is how the yesterday we saw that. So now what I'm going to do, so removing element. Okay, for example, I will take this one now. Okay, so the removing element, so what it's going to remove, so the li2 dot remove. Okay, so here I want to change the file name. So the file name should be / remove element. So now you see there is no 2 here, right? So not the, yeah, there is no 3 because started from 0 index. Okay, there is no 3 here. Okay, so I'll command this out. So if I remove the child of one, okay, this is another way of doing. So you can also follow this. So I always stick with like this, okay, with the method, this method. So then the class and attribute. For example, the first LI documented query selector LI of the first child. What it's going to return? The LI first LI. It's going to return the actual of the LI, right? So you see. So now you know what is children, right? The children of LI. Who is the children of LI? This is a list. This is a LI. You know that. Who is the children of list? A tag, right?
Yes, sir.
So understand.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
can you repeat once again what you said?
So this is a LI of first child, right? So it's going to return the actual LI, the first LI. You see, when I hover this, returning as the first element, right, of the list, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here inside, what we have, children or parent. I want to access this
Children.
A tag, right? So this is
Children.
children of the LI. Okay. LI have a children of A tag, right? So this is the A,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
So if I try to access the LI dot children, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the
Okay.
here I want to put that. Okay, the link. So I'll get the HTML collection here, not direct A. Okay. So the
Okay.
HTML collection, that HTML collection have an index, so that is 0. Now only I'm going to get the A tag. You see?
Yes.
Understand? So that's this for this only. Yesterday I stopped the class because of the traversing. So you should want to learn what is traversing. Then only you can able to understand this. Without knowledge of traversing, this is very hard to understand. So okay. So now we know how to select the like children and all. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'll just take this out. You know, now I'll just create a let val here. This val classes. So here this is very important. Okay, because val equal to link is a right? Link is a. Remember that. So actually, I want to target the 0. Here is here. Don't get confused. I'll just put some command. Okay. A is here. A is holding. So now link class name. Okay. Link, what is the link of class name? What I'm going to get? So if I try to console log the value here, console.log val. So what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the string of a class name. You see, we have two classes here, the delete items and the secondary content. Okay. I'll get back as a string. Remember this, it's as a string. Okay. So there is another way. List, it's going to return a DOM token list. It's kind of array, but it is not an array. Okay. So returning is in the 0 index, we have delete item. In the secondary content, we have, sorry, in the first index, we have a secondary content. So the difference between when you try to access with the class name, it's going to return the whole string with the class. Okay. For example, which one we are selecting here? The first child, right? So in the first child of the A, I'm just going to give some test here. Okay. Test. Oh, so now you see, it's now actually return the whole class string here. Okay. That is the class name. But when you use to put the class list, it's going to return as a list. See, in the 0 index, we have delete item and secondary content test. You remember this because when we get into the project, we're going to use this to have some logic. Okay, so how to add some classes and remove some classes from this. Okay, so we use some things. So I will show you now just in a hard coded data, but when we get into a project, most time it's going to be a dynamical way, right? So when something happen, we should want to remove the class from some element. So remember that. So understand what is the difference between the class name and class list, right? Remember the DOM token list, it's going to return a array of list, array of classes in your element. Okay, understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we have val equal to link dot class list of 1. I told you the class list returning as a DOM token list, it's kind of array. So I can able to access the 1 now. So now I'm going to get the secondary content because in the 1 index I am having a secondary content value. Okay, so DOM token list. So now what I'm going to do, so here val equal to link dot class list. Okay, I'll just take this test now. Don't need, I'm just going to add something. Okay, because first step I want to show you something. In the class list, you see there's a prototype. You see there is a prototype. So in the prototype, what are the methods we have? Add, contain, entries, for each, items, keys, length, remove, replace, support, toString, toggle, lot of things we have here. Okay, so I'm going to show you some two important methods. So the add and remove. Okay, most of the time we're going to use this one when we use the DOM token list. For now, I'm going to have a DOM token list of here, DOM token list dot add, sorry, dot add test. So test. Okay, now there is not this is going, it is not going to return anything, but if I try to get the actual link here, okay, console.log, link is the first child, remember that. So the test got added here. You see, I am not added here. I remove the test from here. I dynamically added the test through this add method to the first element of the UL. Okay, now we have a test here. Okay, how can I remove that? Simple. So you can use a remove dot remove test. You should want to mention what class you should want to remove that. For example, if I give the secondary content, okay, I'll take this out and give the secondary content here. So now the style is going to disappear because there is no secondary content in the LI. You see, this is now kind of here because the secondary content is actually a style of flex. Okay, I'll make this flex and justify content like this way. So when I remove the secondary content, the style is changing because there is no class here. Okay, so this is the difference. I'll make that test here. So now the test got disappear again. Okay, so remember this. So you should want to practice all these things. Without practice, you couldn't able to understand. So please practice everything. Okay. So then what we have a attribute. So the attribute is going to have a val equal to link dot get attribute. Okay, so the get attribute here what we have, the this is a tag basically, right? The a tag we have the href. You see, to get the attribute, I'm using the get attribute. What attribute I'm going to get? That is a href. What I'm going to get now, I'm going to get hash here. You see, I'll just get the hash, right? So you see, I'm get the hash here. Okay, so this, okay, how can I set some value to the attribute? So here we have the hash. So now I'm going to set some attribute value to it, where I'm going to set to the href. What the value I'm going to set? The https dot slash slash google.com. So if I do that now, when I click this here, it's going to take me to the Google. You see, we set some attribute to the a tag. Okay, so I will just show you here. So now this, you see the a tag now contains http colon slash slash google.com. Okay, basically we hard coded here. Okay, whatever we are big, first of all, one thing you understand, you should want to understand, whatever you are or creating the code, that code is creating as in physically by you, right? Because you only think something and creating something. So we are set some attribute to the machine, that is a href and some link to the actual value. So when I click the a tag, so where it's going to get me through to the Google. So if I click this one, this is not going to take me through because we are not having any attribute. Okay, so remember that. So now what I'm going to do, so this is how to set the attribute. Okay, so we can check, is there any attribute to the link? For example, val equal to link dot has attribute. Okay, has attribute of what I do, I just add some title to this a tag. Okay, here the hard coded, I'll just put title equal to I am link, like this. I'm just adding some title attribute here. Okay, so well I just get back here, link dot has attribute. Is there any title attribute? I'm just checking. Okay. If I do that, it's returned true. Is there a title attribute? But if I take this TL, it's now going to return false. Basically, we are checking, is there a is there a attribute with the name what I'm passing here? Okay, if there is here the attribute, it's going to return true. If not, it's going to return a false. Okay, so remember that. So now the last step, we can add a class or remove whatever. So we already saw that. So everything is cool. That's all. For example, here val equal to list dot class list. It's going to return the DOM token list, right? So I told you the class list is going to return a DOM token list. In the DOM token list, we have only 1 0 because it has only the, where is the, oh, yeah, this one. Which one is returning here? List is collection. Basically, what? Okay. List is basically a UL, right? So where is that? Yeah, LA. Yeah. So list is basically a UL. Yeah. List is basically a UL. So it's returning the collection because the UL has a class of collection, right? So you see, this is having a collection. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, so I'll get one. I have only one class there, so I can give some val equal to list. Okay, I'll keep with the link. Okay, so not the list, so we'll go with link. So in the link we have two classes, one is delete item and secondary content for the first element. So what if I want to add something? So already told you, so just please explain me how can I add some new class to that. So link dot list style, we can use a dot add method, right? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can use a link dot class list dot add, because we should want to add a class list to the text in the list only. Okay, so if I used to put a test here, so what I'm going to get, we couldn't get anything, but if we try to console this and open here, now this, see here, we now added the text as a class. Okay, so now we added the text as a class because we basically added here. So again, so I'm just going to remove the same thing. So link dot class list dot remove is what, test. I'm just going to remove the same one. So now you're not having the test class here. For example, I will remove the delete item so that you can understand what's actually happening. So now you see there is no delete item because, right, we have only the secondary content, the test. We added test here, we manually deleting the delete item class here. So it is now not having the delete item. So remember this. So today class is over. So just go and practice this traversing and how to target the class list and class name, different between the class list and class name. Okay. So practice this. Without practice, you couldn't able to learn some new things. So daily I'm just making some. So yesterday you practice how to create this element and all.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today also go and practice. So then only you can able to understand what we are actually doing. So I will put get in so, up to remove element, right? Okay. So just go and pull from GitHub. Okay, get the code and please work out. So that is only going to come giving you some good understanding. Okay, so without practice, this is waste. Like with only watching the, like the video and attending the classes, not useful, because you should want to practice. When I'm teaching you, you should going to understand. Okay, but when you do it by yourself own without having any help, so it's going to be very not a hard thing, so that it takes some time to understand, right? So then you can be some good idea of how the language is working. Okay. So okay guys, so we'll close. Okay. Thank you.
We don't have class tomorrow, right?
What, brother?
We don't have
Tomorrow,
class
okay, yeah,
tomorrow.
tomorrow there is Saturday. What you guys saying? We can have or not?
We need some time to practice because in
Okay,
weekdays we
okay.
don't get
Okay.
time, na?
No problem. Take your
So we
time for the
cannot
2 days.
get time to practice.
Yeah, practice all these DOM elements. Okay. So tomorrow
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
have
Sure.
the Monday we'll have the session. Okay.
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 Okay,
Take
sir.
care. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. If you have any doubt,
Thank you.
just pin me on WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay,
Sure,
sir.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.